Welcome to the Asian Soup Podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Rox.
And I'm Andy.
Woo!
So excited to be here. First guest.
I know.
Yes.
Whoa, what a privilege.
Crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Thanks so much, Andy, for being on the show. I mean, I met you literally 15 minutes ago in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know Jules already, like from way back. So today we really wanted to get to know more about you and your journey and, even just get some tips from you about how you tell a story and, what your kind of challenges getting to where you are. Yeah.
But before that,
before
that, what is your favorite Asian soup?
Yes, that is a very important question.
That is a very important question.
It is.
I would say of all time, really
Okay.
specifically the chicken laksa from Happy Chef, which is now in Sussex Street Food Court upstairs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
But for some reason in my mind, I associate laksa with like breakouts. So I don't eat it that much.
Yes.
But I think it's so tasty.
Yeah.
A lot of laksa can be super orange, but this one's quite yellow.
Yeah.
And maybe I just associate that with like
creamy.
a chicken flavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last time I had it, I had to have a nap afterwards. But it was like extremely tasty the whole time.
Yeah.
So I probably,
So
I don't eat that often, but that's probably my creme de la creme
Mm.
Asian soup.
Yep. Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. Laksa. Have you tried that before?
Yeah, I have.
It's
I
a
have.
good one.
The food court one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have like a peg system.
yeah.
Like no computers, pegs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the food court chopsticks.
Yeah.
The tray.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
bust your table after.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my number one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love
Cool.
it.
Oh, well, maybe like, what do you have any memories with it? Like, why? Like, I mean,
Well,
it tastes great, but there must be some other memories attached to it.
Uni lunch?
You
you
even
go
earlier.
for-
So I used
even
to hang out in
earlier?
the city when I was in high school. So we used to have a lot of free
Ah.
time. But
What
we
are
didn't
you
really-
doing? Your school's not even that
Were you
close to the
jigging?
city.
No, but there's like a bus right outside. It was like because it was just like me and my brothers had a lot of free time when we were younger,
Mm-hmm.
especially because we were raised by like our mum, like single parent.
Yeah.
So she used to be like, just don't get hurt. Like you can do whatever you
Just
want.
go.
Today.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, 'cause she's working,
amazing.
right? So-
That's so cool.
So we used to go to the city and stuff, but we didn't do anything. Like we had no agenda. Like we weren't even like
that's called loitering.
yeah, we were literally just loitering. And like we had like no money. But I remember like it was maybe towards the end of high school, like there used to be the food court in Market City. Do you remember like the old food court there?
Yes.
Mm.
And that's where Happy Chef used to be.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the
Yes.
first meals I had out where I felt like cultured. Like, I'm gonna make this
Cultured.
my dish. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make this my
Yeah,
Yeah,
dish.
this is my favorite from Market
yeah,
City.
Yeah, but I was like
yeah.
the only
Yeah,
dish,
yeah.
but it's just people are like, I like
Yeah.
the laksa at Market
Yeah.
City. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
probably has that specialness
Mm.
to it. Yeah.
I love that. And I love talking about Chinatown like when you're a kid because I just growing up I'd go there as well and go to Galaxy World and
Yeah.
get lunch and
Galaxy
walk,
World.
walk around.
The old McDonald's
Yeah.
outside the entertainment center
Yeah.
and all the seagulls.
Yes, and
and
pigeons.
and pigeons. Yeah, like that.
For
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, like if it's your first episode watching us, we're from Sydney. So this
Yeah.
is all like around Town Hall area.
Yeah.
That was like kind of the place to be, I guess,
Yeah.
like when we were in high school, which is like 2005-ish.
Yeah.
And if there was a mystery to how old we are, this is like a huge clue. This is like a huge piece of the puzzle. Like they can figure it out, but this is a big piece.
I actually told someone I was 31 the other day.
You lied.
I'm 32. I actually
32?
thought I was 31, but I'm 32.
No, because you
I
just
forget.
had your birthday a few months
Oh,
ago.
you're so sweet.
yeah,
I was like, oh my God, I just keep forgetting how old I am.
it's fine.
I'm the opposite. So
Yeah.
I'm also
You add the years.
yeah. Well, people might not know, but I'm a twin brother,
Yeah.
and my brother Chris, we look nothing alike. Everyone
Yeah,
just thinks we're
nothing
best
alike.
friends, but we're not. But Chris has this habit of just telling everyone we're a year older already. So he's like, we're 32 years old. But this is like when we just turned 31. Do you know what I mean? So like,
I'm pretty much 32. so-
yeah, pretty much. He's like, you're 32.
Round it up.
Yeah. So in my mind, I'm always a year older than I actually am.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's so cool. Like, let's talk about your like having a twin.
Yes.
What was?
Yeah.
Because you didn't know that. Rox didn't
No,
know.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I thought you were just brothers because I've heard of Chris before and I was just stalking you guys. And then, I thought you were brothers. And then Julia was like, oh, they're twins. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Extremely not identical.
Yeah.
Like the most extreme version of identical.
Yeah.
But you guys are so creative. Like you're both so creative.
Yeah. How is that possible?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, it felt like in a lot of ways, I feel like early on, Chris helped me out with a lot of stuff and figuring stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But then now that we've gotten older, it's really great because we can just support each other and help each other out with jobs literally, but also just bounce ideas off each other or kind of just, what's the word? Like, I feel like as you get older, some people might ask you like, why are you doing this? But with me and Chris, it's always been like, how are we going to do it?
Oh,
Like that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me why?
Yeah,
like, we're just doing it. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Because
so-
he knows you so closely already.
And we're both like
Yeah.
crazy. So it's never a question of like, if I was like, I want to make a short film, Chris would be like, oh, how are you going to get lights? It's never like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's more like,
Yeah.
how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Oh my
Which-
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I love
feels
that.
like kind of like our relationship.
Yeah.
Like if I say anything crazy, Rock's
Like-
gonna be like, no, it's never a no. It's like, okay, cool. Like, what do we
What
need
else?
to do
What
next?
else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she'll say something like doubly crazy.
Yeah.
And there's something really magical about that. If you have
Yeah.
someone, it's just like, I don't know,
You
can
keep
do
adding
anything.
on.
Yeah.
Or you focus on doing it rather than
The
thinking
worry
too much
behind
about it. Like it's important to think about it, but it's also like, let's do it and then see what happens.
Like,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah.
Not like that.
And especially like in doing anything, there'll always be people that tell you like, especially people who don't do it. There's a lot of people who don't do it. And they're the ones who'll be like, why are you doing this? Because they don't
Yeah.
understand.
Is there like something, like a memory there that you want to share? Like where someone, you're going to do something and they said, why are you doing this?
I'm going to name names specifically.
Oh.
It's more just, well, because like the people we kind of went to high school with or grew up with, and like this area we kind of grew up in, it's not necessarily like a creative hub. So a lot of people kind of did more like, not in like a derogatory term, but more straight and narrow stuff. Just like
Yeah.
kind of normal expected careers.
Yeah.
And anything else that's not that is either hard to understand or like feels to them more left of field than it actually is.
Yeah.
So it just felt like in the first, actually probably up until recently, like it felt like, like recently in the sense that like once they've seen you've been doing it enough, they don't ask the questions anymore. But you get those questions like, how much money do you earn? How much did this pay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
People ask that?
Yeah. Like it just, because that's, I don't know, I guess that's a metric of like success. Yeah, like a little bit, right? Like, yeah. And to be fair, that's how they would understand things. But it's just a lot of those experiences, and especially in creative industries or stuff that we do, you can't, it's not necessarily be like, it does, if it didn't do this, it meant it was a failure. Like it's like, it's hard to equate what that success
That's
means.
hard. That's really hard. Were there times where like you just kind of wanted to stop doing, like pursuing your creative path?
Well, kind of full circle. That's like the sick thing about having like Chris or a twin,
Yeah.
and then making friends who also do similar stuff.
Yeah.
Because since they get what you do, they're like constantly G'ing you up.
Yeah.
So then you start to realize it doesn't matter what these people think. It more matters what these people think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like finding the people who actually support what you do
Yeah.
and not question you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
when
think
they-
that's important.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I think maybe it would be nice to give a bit of context to our viewers,
Yes.
like what you're doing now, like because we've just
Yeah.
sort of been talking.
Yeah.
But you have a pretty crazy like job title, should we say?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, especially in the last couple of years, I've had to pitch for things, like pitch for interviews and stuff. So it's like, what is your role? So I broadly say content creator / editor / like section curator. So it's kind of like a whole wrap up of everything. But I kind of guess I just say, and sometimes and journalist too. But I kind of broadly view it as like content creating because I guess it feels like everything's content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like content creator, people think it's like YouTube. At least for me, when someone says content creator, it's normally YouTube. Is that what you think?
No, I don't know. I think because I was in marketing or digital marketing, content creation is very broad. You could be YouTube, could be Instagram, could be editorial, could be writing videos. I don't know. It could just anything that someone can consume or read or tell something.
Yeah.
Then I feel like it's, content creation. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it to you?
Well, that's kind of when I initially would figuring out, I always thought content creation was like an influencer. But now influencer is an influencer.
Yeah.
So now I kind of think more along those lines. We're just whether it's writing, creating video or anything, it's all content. So I just kind of view it in that way.
Just any medium, as long as there's some kind of communication of content. Influence is so broad too.
It is. It is. Yeah. Are we influencers?
Maybe when we have 100K followers.
I want to be.
Right now we're podcasters.
Yeah, we're just podcasters.
Micro influencers. That's the term, the industry term, micro influencers.
Well, I would like to say I made my friend buy a bathtub.
Oh, you did. Yeah, Jay bought a bathtub.
I influenced her.
To buy a bathtub?
Yeah, a portable
in the
one.
first episode. She put a link in our video.
And my friend bought it. And she loves it, by the way.
Is it a good bathtub?
Oh my God, it's so good. I'll link it down below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wish I was an influencer.
Oh my gosh. Like, that's kind of like what we want to do too.
Yeah, I want to be
What kind of influencer?
Yeah.
I guess I just want to kind of like what I'm doing now, but just more eyes on me. And not because of like ego, just so I can direct people more towards the things I'm already trying to direct them towards already.
Yeah. A bit of context. And is a freelancer and writes and produces content for other brands. And, the next step will be to create your own brand and create content through there, right?
Yes, and that's something hopefully later in the year will kind of come up, especially with me and Chris and maybe a few of our other friends. And maybe we can come back on the podcast and talk about it.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That's so cool.
Little
Stay
Easter
tuned.
egg. Yeah. Hopefully.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I also thought it would be really nice, well, not nice, but like interesting for you to like break down like what kind of content creation you do. Like, could you do it in like percentages? Maybe we can do it like a pie chart here of like, is it, 10% video, 50% writing? Like, what does it sort of look like maybe in the past like few months?
A lot of it's been writing, especially since the pandemic, just because it's kind of the easiest to get over the line. But I do video, so if it's percentage, maybe it's recently recently it's kind of been like I've done some Zoom interviews recently. So recently it's been like maybe 70% writing, 30% video work. But before I also used to do like these illustrated interviews and stuff like that. So before it was a lot more like the pie was a lot more split up.
Yeah.
But recently it's pretty much been like video and writing.
Yeah. And for our viewers who don't know you, what kind of writing do you do?
I do a lot of written interviews and a lot of editorial style writing. So it's like, as I was saying before, it's not like it's facts in my mind. Like, this is the biggest thing ever, but I'm not sure if it's like a hard fact. And I do a lot of interviews with artists, a lot of now Asian acts, and a lot of, I guess a lot of things to do with culture, like arts and culture and stuff like that. So that's kind of my field of writing.
Culture, is that like Asian culture?
Asian culture, but I've done stuff in the past for like, stuff for like art museums a little bit, like interviews at art museums, stuff to do with film festivals. Recently been doing some collaborations with streaming services. so stuff like that.
Like big ones like Netflix?
Well, that's another thing. That's one of my also other hustles that hasn't bore that much fruit. I'm technically like a Netflix cultural ambassador.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But it's writing
so
like
cool.
but it hasn't like it's not the best. Yeah.
What do you do there?
Oh, well, I'm meant to write like, so it's also a freelance gig, and it's writing social media about Netflix shows and stuff like that.
Like Squid Game?
That was one of them. So I put it forward. I was like, can I write about Squid Game?
Yeah.
But I guess it's a large topic we can talk about how like in Australia, a lot of like Asian media, specifically doesn't get traction on like the what's the word? Like on the account side. So it might be lots of fans of it and lots of people watching.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of like steps and hoops to get through on that side.
As in to actually have it posted
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the platform on Netflix AU or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
And even
okay.
So
Yeah.
I've been lucky in my interviews and stuff
Mhm.
to get a lot of stuff over the line
Mhm.
that has been like Asian acts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like there's not many people doing it.
Do
in
you
Australia.
realize that like you're making a difference? I don't know, but do you realize like if you weren't writing it, no one would see it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're saying that not many people are doing it, so it's actually really important that you're doing it. Do you feel that, or do you know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel it in the sense that when I look around, there's not a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I wasn't doing this, no one else would be doing it.
Yeah. Like where do you even read it if
Yeah.
no one's writing about
Yeah.
it?
So in that sense, I do. But in terms of like, it can be up and down in terms of like how many people are actually engaging with it. And that's a bit
okay.
of thing where like, a little bit where like I got to get the wind in like my sails for myself and like my support networks.
Yeah.
Because there've been some stuff that I thought has been really cool
Mhm.
that hasn't done that well in terms of engagements.
Yeah.
But then some things that I thought were cool that other people thought were cool. So that worked out really nicely. But it can be up and down in terms of that type of stuff.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it might also be about marketing or timing of putting it out or there's a lot of different factors as well. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Especially in Australia, like reaching fan bases
Yeah.
can be quite hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them can kind of be like in areas of the internet that I'm not familiar with. Like, for instance, like reaching certain like K-pop fan bases can be like quite hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's
Yeah.
hard. Like it's just
Like Facebook groups, like
Facebook groups, hashtags, time of day you're posting. And you just hope that they reshare it. And you hope that it picks up traction.
Wow.
Yeah. Like stuff like that. Yeah.
Because those metrics are important for your work, right? Because that's what you use for as your like portfolio, I guess, or not so much.
It's important because like even though I'm a freelancer, I still very much like they're paying me to do this. So even if I'm pitching the stories or I'm just kind of getting away with it,
Yeah.
like I don't want it to not do well
Yeah.
because it's also
Yeah.
like reflects on the website.
Yeah.
Right. So is it views? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
your
pretty much
main
views. Yeah.
metric?
Yeah. But then in that sense too, like I also like, because there've been a few times I put stuff out like they don't do well, but I don't regret it. Because I'm like, I thought this was really cool. And I
Yeah.
still
Oh,
think
that's
it's cool.
nice.
Yeah. But I still get that. Like, I'm not so delusional that I'm like, who cares what numbers it gets?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
as long as it's out in the world, like that's all
Yeah.
that's important. There's still a part of me that's
Yeah.
like, I want everything to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you've done some
good.
pretty like cool pieces,
Yeah.
like editorials, and I was like, I know you are interviewing pretty like high profile people. Do you want to talk, maybe share with us like some of your experiences around that?
Yeah. Like your top favorites. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, I'd love to. So I was just thinking off the top of my head. Yes, I've been doing this maybe like 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years.
It's a long time. It feels
Yeah.
weird, right?
Yeah, it
Saying
feels
that.
strange. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like it's only been like maybe like 6 months.
Yeah.
And my main website I write for is Life for Andy. Shouts out Life for Andy. And they've been really great because they kind of trust me to write stuff.
So good.
And that was kind of like Chris was doing some work for them before, and I kind of got my foot in the door through a friend of ours, 24 Karat Kev, who was working there before. And they kind of just trust and still trust me just to kind of do the things I want.
Mad love, right?
Mad Love. So that's the section I run. It's meant to be like the arts and culture section, but it's kind of now just like evolved into just things I like. Kind of thing, like,
I love that.
which is strange, yeah.
That's crazy.
And there's still a part of me where it's like, I can't believe they're going to let me get away with this. Like
no,
some,
but
No.
it's really good stuff. Like what you've got on there. Like, okay, guys, interview with HEDY.
yeah.
if you don't know HEDY, oh my God, I'm getting like goosebumps just saying it out loud. Eric Nam,
Yeah.
Daniel Kang.
Yeah.
Who else? Like Hyeok Oh?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Takashi Murakami. That was a
my
crazy
God.
Wow,
one.
that's crazy.
That's a surreal one. And that was one I got to do
hell?
in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really strange. Yeah, probably my favorites have been Eric Nam was one because I got to do that one. All the ones I've done in person are the coolest because like the ones that have been written interviews, they're cool. Oh, they're cool. They're really cool. Like I'm really like humbled that I got them.
Yeah.
Humbled or like really gracious. But it's just different when you get to see the person in person and ask them questions to their face and kind of react off them. Yeah, so Eric Nam was one because he was like the sweetest guy ever.
And he's like perfect. He speaks perfect English as well. You don't have that language barrier.
Yeah. And we kind of got hooked up through that. That was kind of like I was talking to my friend who kind of hooked it up. She works in music. We'll go name unnamed. But that kind of felt like we got away with something because she was working outside of office hours to get that done.
Oh wow!
And
Thank you, friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, friend.
And we're kind of working overtime just to get our foot in the door.
Wow.
And when we got our foot in the door, we were just like, we're going to run with it. So we just asked him, we got our friend Michael Kim to help interview him too. Sweet Michael Kim. And we just asked him all these questions about his career, about Asian representation, about how hard it was making Korea. And he was like the nicest guy.
Oh,
Like, and full like smiley. And he had that kind of,
smiley.
he's from Atlanta. So he had like, even though his accent doesn't have it, he had a bit of like southern hospitality. He's like,
so
ask
nice.
away. And I'm like, whoa, this is the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was definitely a highlight for sure.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I've been really lucky. Like I've had like a lot of things work out, which if I had asked myself in like my mid-20s or even earlier, my early 20s, I wouldn't have believed it just
Oh my
because
God.
I know. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
actually crazy because I've known you since uni days, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just so much has changed over the past 10 years for Asian media and also Australian media. And you're sort of like in this in-between space. It's like this sweet spot. And it's a sweet spot looking back at it now, but at the time it was like this messy thing and you were just like trying to make sense out of it and just connecting things.
Yeah. And
How did you do that?
I don't know. Well, it very much felt like, so at the beginning I was doing a lot of like artist interviews. So a lot of interviews with like muralists and illustrators.
Like local Aussie ones, right?
Yeah. And then slowly crept up. I'm like, I'm going to try hitting up an international person.
Yeah.
And then it came through. I'm like, oh, this is like,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah. And it was like the power of cold calling. I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm just going to hit them up.
Yeah.
See what happens.
They might not reply, but who
Yeah.
cares?
So what did you
right?
do? Like just send them an email?
Yeah. Just a very courteous email. Like, hi, my name, and I actually have, hi, my name is Andrew Yee, and I do this and that. And I think I'm a really like, I actually have like an,
Actually, that could be, sorry.
Yeah.
That could be like one of those online courses, like
yeah.
journalism courses.
Yeah,
that
like
could be
PR.
you.
Yeah.
Could be making like 20 bucks off everyone.
Yeah. Just like how to write like a very nice email.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it slowly worked out. And I just kept pushing it in terms of being like, maybe what if I hit up this person? Or what if I hit up this artist? And then what if I hit up this Asian act? Like, how would this work? And it just was like learning on the job.
So was that your curiosity that did it then? Like you just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially like it feels like, this is from my point of view, just purely joking. It feels like in 2016, especially with like,
Oh, very specific.
yeah.
So specific.
So
2016.
yeah,
What
20,
was I doing?
2016
Oh, when was
July.
that? Okay, yeah.
Well, it felt like that time period was kind of like a turning point for Korean stuff that also opened the gates for like a lot of Asian media.
What happened in
what happened?
in 2016?
Well, I remember because like the band like Hyeok Oh and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And was like, have you seen this? It's like an indie band out of Korea. I'm like, I didn't know Korea made like indie rock.
Oh, because you didn't know Korean music so much before then, right?
No, I just knew like really basic K-pop, like Girls'
Yeah,
Generation, like all the
yeah,
stuff that was in high school. Then there was a big gap. And then everyone's like, have you heard of these rappers out of Korea? I'm like, what is this? And
Is
it
that
felt,
when Show Me the Money was
like
getting
peaking.
popular?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like that. And like,
Yeah.
that's when like J Park started popping
Yeah.
off. And then, yeah, because I remember really distinctly, 'cause I think it was just like, I was just writing art stuff. was like, what is this? Because me and Chris went to Korea for the first time that year.
Oh,
So I remember it very
this.
distinctly, very distinctly. And I had gout on that trip. That's when I started getting gout.
Getting what?
Gout? You know that
Gout.
like the
Oh,
rich
no.
people's disease, but it's not really.
Oh.
Like it's something to do with your diet or something, no?
Yeah.
What's gout?
Well, it's
Yeah.
basically like your body can't break down uric acids as much. So it's okay, but like every once in a while, like one of your joints will inflame. And it's usually like your foot.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
is it really serious?
Huh?
Was it
Yeah.
serious?
No, because you take a pill. But at the time, I didn't know. So I thought I'd like twist my ankle and I didn't remember it.
Mhm.
So the whole Korea trip, my foot was like big and sensitive.
Oh
And
no.
I was just slamming it into like sidewalks and stuff.
Oh my god.
Super painful. Yeah. Yeah. It was in full crazy. I got
Whoa.
gout like the day before we left.
Do you have any tips for anyone who may have gout and don't know?
Just drink heaps of water.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the doctor, get the pills because the pills get rid of it, like the
Mhm.
gout attack, in like 2 hours.
God.
But otherwise, it's like awful.
It sounds so painful.
Yeah.
It is very painful.
That happened in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I remember 2016 so well.
That
So
makes
many things
sense.
happened. Yeah.
Big year.
Yeah. So I think Chris was showing me that stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, this is so exciting.
The
What is this
Korean
stuff?
K-pop stuff.
Yeah. K-pop and like K-indie stuff. And then I felt like, I think it was around that time too, like Train to Busan came out.
Oh.
So everyone was like, have you seen Korean movies? But then it felt like that kind of opened the gate for other, like I remember that time too, like in our cinemas, we started having more Chinese films,
Yeah.
some a little bit more like Taiwanese films.
Yeah.
And it felt so new.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then, yeah, maybe a year later, I was like, I'm going to try and like ask some of these people, like, do you want to do an Australian interview?
Okay, that's like not normal, like for someone to think that.
Yeah.
As in, like, you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, the average person won't be like, ooh, like, K-pop's really cool. You know,
I
like,
think
is it because like you're in that space?
is it? Or-
I don't know. I think
as like a journalist.
me and Chris have always just had like a bad habit of making the things we like a part of our work. So
I
Chris,
think-
Chris is
yeah.
like now animation, but he's like, I've always liked animated stuff. I want to see if
Yeah.
I can do it. And now it's
Yeah.
like a huge part of his bread
I
and
love
butter.
that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's really interesting that what has gotten you here is all the things you've really loved. And when you said, oh, I'm lucky, or, oh, you know, they just let me run with what I like. But clearly there is value in your taste or what you
Yeah.
like or what you're writing and your point of view. So it's really not just luck, but what you like is actually interesting and making, you know, people, you know, excited about something, right? So that's, you know,
Yeah.
props to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you are very talented.
Yeah.
You're a
Thank
great
you.
writer. And have you seen his art as well?
I know.
It's
what
not
the
even your
hell?
main thing, right? Art. That's like a
No,
side
but
thing.
I
But your
don't know.
art is like so good.
Yeah.
But I never like, not even like saying modestly, like I don't really view myself as like a talented person
Oh my god.
because it felt like
Yeah.
nothing. I was talking to a bit about this with like Chris and just other people.
Mhm.
It felt like I don't feel like I'm innately good at anything.
Mhm.
It's just like I'm just either delusional or whatever, just to give it a try and keep trying.
Delusional is a strong word.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is. Like I guess like
You could like maybe just generalist. Like you're just
yeah,
kind of-
like I'm just like willing to put my hand up and try
Yeah.
things
yeah.
and always sincerely going like I'm gonna do a good job at this.
Mhm.
And then when it doesn't turn out as good, I'm like, oh, I need to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that type of thing. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, but it's been very validating in the like recently that like let's say like K-pop's blown up
Yeah. Oh my god.
because also
Yeah.
like it wasn't a phase and also like I was right. Like this is a big thing. This is
Here
like
to stay.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that stuff's been validating. Yeah.
Mm. How about like any challenges, or you said 2016 was a big change, like any kind of hurdles you had to get through when you were younger, or any first foot in the door kind of things? Because right now you're kind of have a journalism kind of area, but you know, it sounds like you've created things in different mediums. Like you're an artist, you in general you like to make content, make stories. Like kind of how do you juggle the different mediums you want to create as well?
That's a good question.
Sorry, I
What
asked
a good
few
podcast.
questions. I asked a
Oh
few
my God.
questions
Yeah,
there.
wait.
Sorry. I'll answer anything. It will be fine.
Yeah, just pick one.
I don't know. Well, it felt like when I was in my early 20s, I had like no idea what I wanted to do. So if we're kind of like Chris Nolaning this, we started at the end and now we're going back to the middle, the beginning. So because I tried a lot of stuff, because I knew I wanted to do stuff, but I just know what stuff was. I just knew I wanted to do stuff, and especially like going back to it, having Chris, but also meeting all these other people, seeing them do stuff. Like I want to be doing that too, but I still don't know what.
What stuff though? You must have had some people that you look up to, or types of stuff that you were sort of leaning towards?
Well, in terms of like in my personal world, like that's when we started hanging out with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
So we had like, of course, Chris, our friends James Gerard, our other friend Joe Leung, Freda, whose new book just came out. I'm so proud. We have a copy at
She
home
actually
too.
has another book that came out after that as well.
amazing.
I'll leave that one here.
Amazing. I'm so proud of Freda. Our friends Stella, so many, like Victoria Garcia, all these people, but they were all doing kind of art. So at that time, that's why I started doing art, because I'm like, oh, I want to do that too. I did like drawing and stuff like that.
How old were you then, roughly?
24, 25 maybe. Yeah. But then through some of that art stuff, I did some video work, and then it all, I don't know, it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like very hippy dippy, but it was more like once I got over that hump of like being intimidated to try stuff, it felt like things kind of came my way. But it feels like in a short time, but it's probably longer than I thought. Yeah, but the opportunities and stuff started presenting themselves the more I put myself out there.
Yeah.
I guess it sounds really obvious now that I'm saying it out loud, but
at the time it would have been hella messy.
Yeah, it was very messy.
Yeah.
So like, I guess a lot of those challenges would have been like indecisiveness, because now I feel so sure. But at the time, I was like, "Am I good at this?" Like,
yeah. What were some of those sort of thoughts back then?
Still, even now, big ones like financial, because it is hard to make like we're talking with one of our friends about this, but there is like a realistic scenario where like we might not be able to buy property, like, or take out like $1 million mortgage. You know what I mean? Just because the nature of the industry can be so up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. There's also those kind of self-esteem issues of like, am I good at this? Like, does anyone like care about this stuff and doing it? There's that. There's also stuff like there's, in case in partner with that stuff where you compare yourself to other people. Like, oh, this person's so talented at it. I don't feel like I'm talented at it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Comparing.
Yeah.
What about like, because you're Asian as well, being Asian in, you know, back then it was very different in Sydney. It wasn't as culturally diverse. I mean, you know what I mean? It was like,
especially
And
media.
in the media.
Yeah, especially in media, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely. Well, it's definitely. It was definitely challenging at first because you feel like a niche or like a token. Yeah. So you like, it's cool because you're working and you get to put stuff out, but then also you're aware that like there's only like 3 other people.
Right. So you weren't like nervous about that? It wasn't something that made you feel insecure or anything? If anything, you saw it more as like a advantage?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I guess in the sense that too, like I was just grateful, like, oh my God, a website wants to like publish me, you know what I mean? Like, or wants to like do something. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like for me, very personally, I never feel like I fully fit in to any like box cleanly. So I always kind of feel like a bit on the outside. So it's either like let that fully affect you or just like run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of boxes, for example?
Well, I feel like, let's say even like the Asian box, I feel like because of the way I look, it's not like, oh, you're like East Asian or like, but you like Korean stuff, but also you like film and like, you know what I mean? I'm like, and I guess when people hear me talk to like, oh, you're not like a stoic big guy, you're like a talkative big guy. You know, these are all generalizations.
Wow. Oh my God.
Even these are all like generalizations, but also like, I guess, especially talking about before, those are the boxes people see you as. Like, and I'm just very like
So
odd.
Asian,
Yeah.
the tall guy. 'Cause
Tall guy.
And I don't know if you can tell, but Andy's really tall.
He's quite tall. So we have extra thick books
Yep.
leaning on
I got
the mic.
Surf Cafe Living to support the microphone.
And David Chang.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Chang. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like the White Australian Society box as well. Is that
Yeah.
one?
That's one too. Yeah. So it feels like but I guess I feel like I've just always, especially in the last like 5 or so years,
Mhm.
I've always had such like a good support system that it's never like got me down too long. Like I've
Yeah.
always had people talk about it, especially other Asian creatives, and even in my own family, of course, talking about Chris, but also
Yeah.
in extended networks that
Mhm.
I always have someone to talk to or bounce off or be like, I'm not crazy, they're crazy, right? And they're like, yeah, they're crazy. Like,
Yeah,
because when you're by
so
yourself,
good.
you can question yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That's
did your support system look like?
A lot of friends. Also, my girlfriend's an artist too, and she's recently went back to school. Which I'm so proud.
Yay.
So it's been a lot of friends, of course, Chris. And it's everyone, and they all kind of do art or do creative stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now that time's gone on, it's been reaching out a lot of people online who've reached out.
Mm-hmm.
Or just people when you bump into them, they're like, "Oh, you did that thing." Doesn't happen all the time. That makes it sound like I'm famous, but even in the small
Yeah.
pockets, that can go
Yeah.
a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
So,
yeah.
those boxes don't matter really anymore.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
now in 2021 where everything's a little bit more fluid.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, so I guess before I just kind of had like, what's it called, like the horse blinders on,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I'm just glad to be working. Oh, I'm glad to be just doing something. But now that I'm on the other end of it, I'm glad it's working out.
Yeah. It's interesting because you're very grateful. Like any type of work that comes your way, you're like always so grateful.
Yeah.
Is that just like your personality, or is it because did you feel like there was like an element of luck there?
I think a bit of both. I think it always feels, it feels like there's always been luck, but maybe if I'm being like honest, why would I lie on this podcast? You're like, you know, I've been lying the whole time. But if I'm being honest, it feels like I've been chasing a lot of things recently.
Okay.
And the fact that they're working out is also like a part of my effort. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it is.
but also too, I just feel like it feels like, it sounds corny to say, right?
We love corny.
We love
here.
corny.
Yeah,
Like
it's
we've
got
got
corn
corn tea.
tea. But like the way, like in terms of my attitude, let's say like interviewing like some of these Korean artists, like let's say
Yeah.
Kang Daniel or like whatever, or even doing some stuff with some like the film festival, the Korean Film Festival and stuff like that. Or recently, you guys can read my interview with Lee Nal Chi for the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Korea and Australia.
Wow.
But they were like this folk group, this experimental
Oh,
group
cool.
that performed for it.
Wow.
I feel like for me personally, like my attitude is like, if you trust me with the story, I can communicate to people how important I think it is. And hopefully they will think the same too. So I guess I feel lucky in a sense because some of these things I'm like, this is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the second layer is my job to be like, and now how do I package this
Yeah.
so people also think it's important?
Yeah.
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 Because there's been very few times I've gotten a story and been like, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like not really any time recently. Every time I've gotten something, I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no one else is doing
Yeah.
this? Like I can't,
Yeah.
like I still have that enthusiasm. Like
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
gone
great.
cynical enough yet to be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like because you're so like grateful for these opportunities, it's almost like, I don't know, it comes to you as a surprise, like a surprise element. Like, is it because, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's like you're doing something different. Maybe that's what it is. Like, you're doing something different, like something that's sort of never been done before. Do you reckon that's why you feel like so grateful and lucky? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And I also, because I think of myself as like a normal person. So there's a part of me when I'm like, I was talking to you before the podcast, I'm like anyone could be doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or like, there are people I know who also like the same thing, but they just haven't had the chances to do it like I've had.
Yeah.
But then thinking about it, but then also like I chase those chances. So it's kind of like, not necessarily a chicken and egg situation, but like when I
you're opening the doors, like you're welcoming those stories to come to you. Like people will find you to write that kind of thing too because of what you've done before. So keeps building.
But I guess like when I have like my most like modest thoughts, I'm like, anyone could be doing this. Like anyone.
That's true.
And especially now there's so many people that care about like Asian media and these type of stories. But so I guess in that sense, I feel like I'm lucky enough to be able to actually do it. But then conversely, I'm like, but I'm doing all the work. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird dichotomy.
So how about more into like the future and what you see in the media? Like you said now, it's like, oh, it's about Asian media. But I'm sure we all kind of dream or hope one day it isn't really just about being Asian. Do you know what I mean? It's just anyone who's cool or happening. Like, what are your thoughts on, you know, working in media? Or what do you hope to see, or what do you hope to make next?
Well, like we were saying before, me and my brother want to start our own thing. And a lot of that is a lot of our goal with that is to put on different voices and tell stories in their voice. Because I still feel like when you read like an Asian media article, it's written in a very like homogenous type of way. Like it's written very much like, let us explain to you what this means and that means and why this is important. So I just hope, or I'm looking forward to in the future where this stuff becomes a little normalized. It can be from a point of view where it's like, I think this is awesome and this is my personal experience with it, as opposed to still having to like intro it to people.
So true.
And that's one thing I hope in the future. It just becomes like, I hope it feels like people are getting on board with it, but in the fact that this isn't a niche, like this can be enjoyed by everyone because it's designed to be enjoyable. So I hope that people just kind of pick up on that and just become as enthusiastic about it as I am.
Well, what do you think about things like Netflix? You know how they Korean dramas are being so accessible now, and you know, with the crazy success of Squid Game and all that, like how do you see things changing? I mean, it's already changed a lot.
I think it's huge. Well, as a cultural ambassador, I love Netflix. I watch Netflix every night. Every night. Stream Netflix all the time. Andrew, you still watch it? I think it's great. I think it's definitely, I don't know, I sometimes think like there's a part of me that wants to have the experiences I've had and wants to have my point of view, but also not be out of touch with how younger people think, especially around this stuff. It feels like, let's say if like kids who are 20 and stuff, they don't necessarily view it as like Asian media anymore. Or like Jennie from Blackpink is the K-pop singer. She's just from Blackpink. But the pop
just
singer,
the biggest star right now.
So I feel like it's definitely becoming more normalized a lot quicker. Which I think is great, and especially because Korean stuff is so accessible and so like enjoyable to watch. It's definitely like, it's cool that that's like the media that's kind of getting everyone into seeing those faces more in content and stuff. So overall I think it's great, and I think it's definitely it feels really fresh, and it feels fresh that now like the like pop culture conversation are revolving around these type of voices and faces more.
Personally for me, like I love how like these TV shows and movies like Parasite and like Squid Game, they're doing so well. Just I love how like they are just like, it's like how do I explain it? It's like, it's just Korean or Asian or whatever it is. It's not like trying to like Americanize it and then trying to like do well in America. Because like before this, like a lot of Korean artists would try and break into the US market. Like I don't know if you know, but like Wonder Girls, they try to do it. CL try to do it. Like even like, I mean, like I can't think of any right now, but like, and a lot of them didn't do as well. But then now like with BTS and all that, they all sing. I mean, BTS sing in English, but like they're doing well just being them.
Without
and
trying
that's working.
to be too American.
Exactly. And I think that's really cool.
You know what's surreal? I didn't know that there was like a dub of Squid Game.
I heard about
Me.
this.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah,
about
yeah.
this.
And
I didn't watch the dub. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
and I find it so strange that people would watch the dub. Not
Why,
in a way,
why
but
do they even have a dub version?
I don't
But
know.
but I also feel bad because, you know, that's maybe their way. Sorry, but I feel bad for even saying that them. But maybe it's their way to, as an intro into the culture. It's like honey soy chicken. Like it's the intro into
Yeah.
the culture. And if you prefer that, then that's fine. You know.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
know
your
what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's because I get
It's
it.
all good.
Yeah. It's all good. Like, listen, if you like honey soy chicken, Squid Game dub, it's cool. Like, it's fine. The English
Yeah.
version of K-pop song. Is fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always find it real when it's like a real life thing.
Yeah.
Like watching someone's face, but it's not their voice.
Yeah, and it just doesn't match.
It's strange. Like I don't mind if
really
it's
weird.
like anime or
'Cause
like a
even
cartoon.
watching French stuff or you know European films or whatever, you still wouldn't watch the dubbed version.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But thanks to Netflix for providing the dub.
because it was funny.
Amazing service.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't read
You can't, yeah, maybe not.
fast, like the subtitles.
But
then
you want
dubbed
to see
will be-
death games? You want to see like people getting murdered?
Yeah.
All the same? Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm glad we finally got to talk about Squid Game because I made Rox watch it like in 3 days. And I was like, Rox, you have to watch Squid Game because
I did.
we need to talk about it on our podcast. But yeah.
What do you think?
I felt I don't know if I can say it. Can I say anything? I
Say
don't know.
it.
Am I gonna ruin it?
Or spoiler?
Spoiler
Right.
alert.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
spoiler.
watch. No, well, I really liked all the episodes. Like I liked the whole thing. It was very binge worthy. I had to watch I think 2 or 3 episodes in once because there was one cliffhanger that was crazy and it was just like, oh my
The
god.
tug of war
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. I was like, shit, I need to keep watching this. And then but the ending was really like took me by surprise, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it was really good.
Oh, you
like it
mean
was very
the-
original. The story was very
You
original.
mean the grandpa?
Yeah.
I'll put a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I was like, what? What the hell?
Yeah, I had no idea.
And then yeah, I really wish I can't say it here. Maybe
No, just
we'll
say
cut
it.
out.
I'll put a spoiler alert.
Okay,
down.
well I really wish he saw his daughter. I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
What did you think? Like, what did you guys think?
I was like, get on the plane.
Like to see your daughter
Yeah,
first.
I'm glad he wants to take down the Squid Game.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, go to America first.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, those psychology like games or tests or whatever. It's like if you could save like one person's life versus like 500 people's lives, like who would you
That's
like
true.
what would you save? It could have been like
Okay.
that sort of
That's
thinking.
true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right too. Because that's why he didn't spend any of
But the
money.
daughter never got to see his red hair. Yeah, he's super red hair.
Red
Yeah.
Hey, what?
the
That was
hell?
random.
That was-
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Maybe we find
what
out
does it mean?
in the next season.
It's really red too.
I just thought it was
really
like
bright.
a brand new guy. He's like, I've changed. I got
It's
red
like
hair now.
Bright
Is it meant to
red.
represent something like
It looked
He's
like
weird.
a new-
Joker?
He's a new man.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know.
It made him look older.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he looked quite youthful throughout
Yeah.
the
It
movie.
made
Except
him
the
look-
series, yeah.
It made him look a bit paler. to
Yeah, it
me.
did, yeah. Such an abrasive red.
Well, do you know he's like one of the biggest Korean actors
Yeah.
Before already.
already?
Oh,
He always
wow.
plays like really good roles. He's like
He was really good.
A-class like
his,
actor.
His expressions.
Yeah,
But
but-
even just episode 1, I was like, wow, he's really good.
Yeah. But he never plays that sort of like loser role.
Yeah.
So that was why for the Korean audience,
Yeah.
it was shocking because he's playing this
Oh.
like pathetic loser role and you don't see him ever play that role.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting as well. Like seeing that sort of character come out of him.
Ah.
I think the last. I remember he was in Assassination, right? Do you remember that movie? Where it was about like the Japanese. It's always about like.
Is it gangster? Gangster?
That it
maybe?
was like set in that time where they were like Korean revolutionaries. And it's got that actress from My Sassy Girl in it. Do you remember?
Oh,
and he was
Ton
kind
Ji-yeon.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like a Japanese sympathizer. Do you remember that?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, that was like, he was like a really hard guy.
Yeah.
That's
He
when I saw
normally
him with
plays
that
those roles.
Goofy smile.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the same guy.
Yeah. I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday about Squid Game. Like did you know like there's a huge debt problem in Korea?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
So it is reflecting.
Yeah, so that's why it's it's a bit crazy because like that's what the movie is based off. Like people in so much bad debt in Korea. It's like a real
gambling
thing.
is such a big deal.
Yeah.
So like even when he was betting on horses, I was just like, whoa. Why is it? It just, I don't know how to say this, but horse racing is huge in Hong Kong. So every Wednesdays and Sundays, people can bet horses. And there's, you know, it's kind of like the TAB of Hong Kong, and it's like the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and, you know, all these local old, like, you kind of associate it with, like, you know, older men who are like betting on these horses. But, you know, people get addicted and it ruins lives, you know what I mean? So it's just crazy but him acting that out, I was like, wow, it's very you can see how real it is.
Yeah.
They played up the desperation.
Yeah.
Not played up, but they reflected that very intensely. That disparity between like the have and have nots. But that being said, I've liked all the online talk about like the rich people, the rich white guys acting.
What is
so
this?
weird.
I don't know.
Everyone's like, it's terrible.
Oh my god, yeah, I said this as well. Yeah, I was thinking that too, especially because like, you know, the guy behind the mask, Lee Byung-won.
Yeah.
He's like another huge actor in Korea. The guy behind the mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I started watching something old of his after that.
Oh right. He's like huge. That's why that was another like big sort of twist when he took off the mask. You're like, oh, like
he's
such
huge.
a big actor playing that role. So you have all these like the best actors in Korea, like doing these roles, and then you have the white people.
Yeah.
Like
it's so bad. They're like literally just like reading the script.
And maybe because of the way they acted or looked, I didn't believe they were rich. It's like, you're not a billionaire.
And they didn't
they were like
seem that dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't killing the people. I don't know. It just didn't. And they shouldn't have even. I don't know.
But
it's just so.
But
fake.
I feel like Squid Game is also like it's created by Koreans, and I feel like the Korean audience would buy it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. True.
But then the Aussie Korean or Asians were like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah,
no one talks
what
like
is this?
that.
Yeah, no one. But if I was in a show like Squid Game, that would be the role I want.
What? Which the white guy?
Yeah, just like the rich person, like
really?
the rich.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Because I want to ham it up. I want to be like, show me, like, bring me the wine. Like, I want to be that actor.
Are you gonna be the guy that's like?
The guy gets naked.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Yeah, not that guy.
Oh God, there's so many spoilers.
Any of the other guys.
Oh my gosh.
So go back. I think it's great. Full circle.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we've talked for quite a bit now.
Yeah.
I think like
big Squid Game talk.
I thought like something that could be nice to sort of end with is like if you could have anything, you know, for all the sort of creative people out there or people who don't identify themselves as creatives, do you have anything you want to say to them, like give advice or?
What's funny about this question is this is the question I always end my interviews on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you guys got it. 'Cause I always just feel like it's important. Like if people who like, when people read, they'd be like, you want that either advice or encouragement from that person. Now I'm in that position.
Yes.
No, but I want to know for myself as well.
Yeah,
Like a question for me. Tell me, please.
I don't know. I feel like it's probably a few things. I guess one kind of theme we've been talking about is this stuff's always better with the people. Because I guess like doing creative stuff can be inherently like a soloist endeavor. But it's always better to be doing it with people or have people just as support systems. Like it just makes everything about this easier and just more motivating. And I don't know, it sounds so cliche, but just do it. Like
do the creative thing.
Do it.
Yeah, just do it. Like start a podcast.
Just do it.
Because there's literally like so many ways to start something now.
Okay, so for someone who wants to do it, but they just don't even know where to begin, do you have any tips? Because that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
The actual you know, mustering up the
Like you have all
courage
these
and energy
ideas
to
and,
do it.
Yeah.
I guess figure out why you really want to do something, I think is really important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
But figuring out why you want to do something, it can make a lot of decisions later easier.
Yeah.
So let's say for me, in the last couple of years, I've realized I love telling stories. Like I love telling other people's stories. I love interviewing people and finding things out about other people and expressing that to like the world or larger audience.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of decisions now easier.
And why do you think you want to do? Wait, sorry. So what is your why? Like you like telling stories.
Yeah.
But why?
I think it just gives me a sense of satisfaction. Like when I do it, stuff like some of those challenges we were talking about earlier don't come to mind at all. I'm so happy this is out there. And like I'm so happy that I got to tell this story and I'm a part of that. Like selfishly. Like if you look up my name with that, I'm a part of that. And that makes me feel very satisfied.
That's interesting because you did say like if there's one word to describe you, it's a storyteller.
Yeah. Pre-podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, pre-podcast before in the
this
tea.
episode.
So yeah, stuff like that. Once you figure that stuff out, and that took me a while. Like I feel like, especially now with online, you see a lot of young people and kids getting success really early.
Yeah,
and that can make you feel a type
it's
of way.
really glamorized as well.
Yeah, but they're like 1 in a million. You can just feel like there's heaps of them because you're seeing them all. Yeah, and then because the algorithm attracts them to you.
Yeah,
because the algorithm attracts them to you. It feels like all these every young person is doing well.
Yeah, it's only a few.
It's only a few.
So
they might be they're probably working really hard at that as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they're probably working but they make it seem so effortless, but it's probably not effortless at all, right? Yeah, so I guess figure out why you want to do things and then just say yes a lot or just like kind of follow your gut and just like be aware that there are going to be hard times. But if you figure out why you want to do it, those hard times don't seem so hard. Yeah. Because there have been some times where I've been like up at like 3 a.m. writing an article. And I'm like, I'm so tired. But the decision was easy. I'm like, I want to do this, so I'll just do it. But if you don't know why you're doing it, that can seem like murder. Like, I'm so tired.
Yeah. You're figuring out your why is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you just kind of like when it does get, the waters get rough, you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Like,
is this even worth it?
This is not good for my body or whatever. Like I'm tired or whatever. But figuring out your why, it's like your compass that can direct you to the right. Yeah. In the right direction.
True north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's my main thing. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. Which makes sense because it's a big world. You can do anything really.
Yeah.
So that's my main advice.
Yeah, figuring out your why.
Nice.
Love that.
Yeah, love it.
Yep.
Pretty good.
I wasn't even when I said that, I was like, oh, I made that up. Like, well, that's pretty good. I'm like, figure out your why.
It's really interesting. Even me and Rox, we discover things about ourselves like while talking about it, like things that we don't ever talk about. We talk about it here. Yeah. And then we reflect back. Sometimes like after recording, we'll like message each other and be like, hey, so you know how we said this? Yeah. I learned that, Yeah, we do that, right?
It's weird reflecting also with, because me and Jules don't know each other that well either. So it's trying to explain and also reflect about yourself or how you think about something. And then you're like, oh, wow, I learned something about myself through talking to you or talking to you. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Once out in the world.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
you can reflect upon what you said.
Yeah. When you're like watching it on YouTube or listening it to on Spotify.
I'm starting to realize I'm like very inherently corny.
Corny.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm just very I wouldn't say I'm sentimental where like I'm looking back in the past.
But you're a storyteller.
I am a storyteller. That's right.
So that's why.
It's useful. But I just realized it. I'm very like, this is awesome. I'm like, oh my God, you have to check this out. Yeah.
I love that. I love that energy. I think we need, I think you were just advising us about just the way we speak or the tones. And we're just definitely learning on our side as well.
We learned heaps today. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, I'm glad. And thank you for watching.
Well, how was it? Like, how was your experience? Like, I just want to know, like, I'm genuinely curious, like, how was the whole recording experience?
It was great. It was definitely
Is it what you expected? Because by the
Minus
way,
the
we didn't even
difficulties.
we didn't like plan anything.
No, we just like kind of freeballed it
We
from
really
a conversation
did.
earlier. I don't know. Well, it's hard because I was saying before, it's odd for me being on the other side.
Yeah,
So, but the fact that it went by really quickly and really
like time flew
Yeah.
by recording.
it didn't feel like that long at all. But how long have we been talking? Probably like an hour or something.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt really quick. Means that was good. I guess it means that it was very what's the word? Like sometimes I wasn't aware we were podcasting. It just felt like we were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
just
conversation.
a conversation.
Yeah, which was
Oh,
very
that's
good. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, maybe for our audience, can you maybe plug yourself in? Like,
Where can they find
Yeah,
you?
how can they
read
find
your
your work?
stuff? What do you want to share?
Shout outs, plugs, let the people know. So first off, you can follow me at Andy's Friends, ANDYS.
oh, don't worry, I'll put it.
I'll put the bottom?
No, I'll put like captions in.
Oh, yeah, the clicking sound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah. I noticed. Yeah, because I was doing work while having it on.
Yeah,
I like
what's that
dual
sound?
monitors. I'm like, am I clicking on something? No, I really like click. Oh,
That's my
that's
editing.
cute. That's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that on Instagram. I also have a Twitter that doesn't have a lot of followers,
Okay.
but you can follow that too because sometimes I update it. I should update it more, especially
Okay.
as a content creator. Twitter is really important.
Okay.
But I feel like a
You
lot
should
of
open a Twitter then.
yeah, we should get on Twitter.
yeah. I'm really bad at it though. I'm
Yeah.
really bad at
That's
Twitter.
that's the worst.
Yeah,
Like, not
it's
the
tricky.
worst, but I'm not that good at Twitter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. It's a whole different
It is.
type of language and
Mhm.
different world. But I'm on there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Also, you can check out a lot of my written articles are at Life at Andy
Mhm.
under the Mad Love section. So
Yeah.
just have a explore down, have a scroll. I've
Mhm.
done a lot of video written interviews, and you can kind of get a scope of what I do. And hopefully, you find it cool.
Mhm.
And if you do find it cool,
How can they reach out to you?
they can reach out to me. So my email, you can if you want my
Email.
email, yeah. In terms of if you want to actually like pitch something to me, an email is always handy. It's andrewy24
Mhm.
at gmail.com.
Yeah.
But even though you can just DM me, just DM
On
me on
Insta.
Instagram or something, yeah. And especially if you think you have a cool idea or have any like want any further questions or advice, or just want to reach out and just want to
Just chat.
please. I'm an open book.
We're all about the support system.
Yeah, I'll try and help you as much as I can. Or if you, like saying before, if you want to pitch something, you think like this is a really, really
Or
cool story.
Pitching like someone has a story that they want you to write.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or want me like, we want
Cover,
coverage on this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Especially now that I'm at this point,
Mhm.
I do get that. I don't want to say a fair bit, but I do get it.
That's
Mhm.
cool.
yeah.
Good.
Which is cool because it means that I like
Mhm.
sometimes now that like I don't have to chase. Like they
Mm.
chase
it's
me.
coming.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. But that's cool because it means that like that legwork's done. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
God.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you have anything like that you think it's cool, or even if you have a story and want to do it yourself but looking where to publish it or something like that, hopefully I can push you in the right direction or something like that.
Mm.
So please reach
Cool.
out.
And Yellow Belly TV, do you want to plug that in?
You can plug Yellow Belly TV. So we have a food Instagram. Me and my brother and one of our friends run. And we just really facetiously review food, but also really earnestly.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we're very much about the mid to low level eating, but talking about like it's fine dining.
Love that.
Yeah,
Love that
very much too. Our DP is IU eating, like stuffing her face. Like that's the DP.
Yeah.
But hopefully, at the end of the year, it might be something more legitimate. Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah. And like saying before, hopefully we can come back in here and talk about it, me
Yeah.
and Chris. But that's stay tuned. That's still in the works.
Mhm.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to it.
Excited, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Can't wait.
I don't know
I
what's
know.
gonna be. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Asian Soup Podcast. It was amazing. You're our first podcast guest ever.
Yeah.
I feel
just
very
so grateful.
Even though we've been talking about that a lot,
I
it's,
feel
Yeah,
lucky.
we
We
are
are
lucky.
lucky.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us, and hopefully you can come back on the show
Yeah, give us updates.
on Yellow Belly TV and all the other things that you're working on.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Well,
Cool.
thanks for watching, guys, and
for
we'll see you
watching.
in the next one.
Bye.